Hey guys, it's Drew again. My friend Dylan at Double D Vintage wanted us to show off a group of cards that you could put together and create a story. And telling a story with cards, man, that's right up my alley. So let's check it out and see what we came up with. So like I said, Dylan just wanted us to do a video response just talking about a story that we could create through pictures of cards that are go together. And a lot of people have done some great responsive and enjoyed watching all of them. But one of the things about me is it is about the story. It's not about specific cards. And I'm going to tell you about the best time I have ever had in my collecting life, and I've collected for decades, and that time is right now. The community that's out there, it's not just a bunch of watchers that like want to be entertained by people, but they're people that want to connect, and it's that connection that we all seem to have. And I haven't met anybody within this community that hasn't found a new friend, a really good friend, people that talk and text constantly about life and about cards, about their experiences, about their collections. And it's what I've enjoyed so much about collecting in this age. I don't add a whole lot to my hobby, but we know what I've added is I've added friends. And I thought, what better way to show a tribute to the people that I've grown really close to through this community, through my collecting, than showing off cards that, in my opinion, kind of represent what I think of when I think about them and the cards they would have. So the first person I want to talk about is my friend Jared. Now, I didn't meet Jared through YouTube. I met him through another friend. He lives local to me. We spent a lot of time together, hanging out, texting, talking. Huge Braves fan, but he is a collector. He's got a channel called An Average Braves Fan, and check it out if you haven't. He doesn't post a ton, but he does have some really good videos on it. But when I see this card, it makes me think about Jared. So I've got a 1953 Topps Eddie Matthews, and as you can tell on this card, it's a beautiful image, but there's something glaring on it, and someone wrote the number 110 on the back, on the front, and not only that, on the back, for whatever reason, they thought number 81 was a much better number for Eddie Matthews this year. But the reason I picked this card for Jared is he secretly has this desire to get every single one of Eddie Matthews' cards, and he's got some really good ones. And this is just a great image of Matthews. It's one of my favorites of him, this set, and the way it looks. It's a second-year card, and Jared's not like all about condition or anything. It's just to own it and to have it, and so this card is definitely about Jared. The second person I want to talk about, and I'm going to kind of go in chronological order of how I got to know these people, is Jake. And you guys all know Jake, Legends Never Die. And Jake and I have this running joke back and forth about a Thai cob that I own, but I'm not going to show the cob. I'm going to show a different card in honor of Jake, not to mess with him. I'll mess with him later. But I want to show off another Braves card because he's a huge Braves fan, and that's a 1953 Bowman Color Warren Spahn. Loves Warren Spahn and his cards, and you can't deny this is a great image of him. It's just got beautiful color on it. I'm sorry about the glare with everything. And the patch on his arm, and just a good picture of him, and a great card from a great set. And Jake's been a super good friend of mine, and we have talked a lot of life. We have sat and talked and met, been to shows together, texting threads, and Jake was kind of my push to get into this hobby. I'm not into the hobby, into sharing my hobby and my stories on YouTube. So I can't ever thank him enough for that. So Jake, that one's for you. And then I want to go to the person who actually inadvertently named me the Drew, and which is kind of fun or kind of annoying depending on how much it's used. Talking to you, Jake. But you know, I'm going to show this card, and I'm betting most of you guys will know who it is without even me talking about it. But I'm showing off a 1955 Topps Don Mossy rookie card. And this one goes out to my best friend Scott at Reindeer Studios. And Scott is an amazing guy. He's such a talent. You know, we've seen his artwork, we've seen his stuff, but we've seen his comments. He watches so many videos, and he's always so supportive. Sometimes a little snarky, but I absolutely love it. Scott and I have had some good conversations offline, and that's the type of people that have helped me build my channel, and just in sharing and that encouragement. So Scott, the Don Mossy is for you. Then the next one is a guy who has a channel, but he's only ever put out 2 videos. And both of those videos were to support me with video responses that I had in the past, and that's Will. Will's channel is named It Could Happen, and I'm going to put a link to everyone's channels down below. If you don't know these guys, go check them out. But let's kind of blow Will's channel up, put a little pressure on him to get more videos, because he does have a lot to say. He does have an incredible collection. He's just a little nervous about getting out there with a camera, but you know what? Will get out there and experience some of this stuff. So for Will, he's a big Orioles fan, so I picked a 62 Topps Brooks Robinson, and the reason is this just screams vintage classic 60s card to me. It's a great image of Brooks. It's got again the logo. I love seeing logos on the hats, the jerseys, that type of thing. And this is a great card, 62. It's got the wood grain. It's got that great rolled up piece of paper kind of thing. There's just something about it that just screams vintage to me. So Will, this one reminds me of you definitely. And the next one is a guy that I met through YouTube. He was the first subscriber that I had to my channel back when I started that I didn't already know. And I don't know how he stumbled across it, but he has become such a support, not just to me, but to so many people in the community. His comments within the comment section are just well thought out and placed. He watches so many people, so many different kind of collections. He and I have talked on the phone a number of times, texted back and forth. I'm really impressed with him and in awe of not his collection, but his passion for his collecting and how it represents who he is as a person. So being a Yankees fan and Mickey Mantle was being his favorite player, and I know this is his favorite Topps baseball set, I decided to pull out my 1956 Topps Mickey Mantle for Terry of TJ Maxx Vintage Cards and Nostalgia. Again, classic card. Mickey Mantle's Triple Crown year, just a superb card, and to me this helps represent exactly who Terry is as a friend and a person, but in his love for passion for cards and for the community that collects cards. And for that, I thank you, Terry, for showing us that. The next person I have met was, I met him about a year ago. Both of our channels were mentioned on a John Mangini video, and he ended up reaching out to me. We got on the phone and we chatted, and he was like a sponge just absorbing all this stuff. He and I have talked a few times since then. We're in a texting thread together, going back and forth, but he's got a great passion for cards and a great passion for eye appeal, just in a way that I've never seen. He loves cards with red, and in our first conversation I talked about Carl Erskine being one of my PC guys. And I don't know if you'd ever heard of Erskine, but he ended up getting that card, the one I'm about to show you, which is the 1954 Red Heart, Carl Erskine, and this is for Adam at Vintage Sanctuary. So Adam, this card helps me represent you in the fact that you love the visual of the card. It's not about the Hall of Fame, about being top tier athlete always. It's about a story behind them and a story behind the beauty of the card itself. So this card is a card that helps represent my friendship that I have with Adam from Vintage Sanctuary. The next person I met was actually through Jake, not a surprise. And he and I have a lot in common outside of card collecting. He and I have talked a lot about woodworking, displays. He's made some beautiful displays. He's asked me some questions. I'm by no means an expert, but I appreciate him trusting me with some input. And that's Don from Don's Field of Dreams. And Don, as you guys know, is a great Stan Musial fan. So I wanted to show off the 1948 Bowman Stan Musial rookie card in honor of Don and just the friendship that we have. There's something about this card that just shows, Musial had his whole, chunk of his career out there, and he just doesn't get the hobby talk that we think he should. But the point is that Musial is a great guy to collect, and just an amazing athlete. And Don, this card is a card I chose for you. And then through Don, I met another guy, kind of newer to the scene, although now it's been probably 8-9 months. Just exploded on the scene with great collection, great stories, and super support. He calls me constantly, or at least every few weeks, and we just chat again about life and having a good time in this hobby. And that's none other than Chris from Missouri. And Chris, as you probably know, is a big Johnny Bench fan, so I picked a 1969 Johnny Bench. There's nothing you can find to pick apart this card. It's just great. The image of the colors, the red, the blue and the circle, the rookie cup, second year, young Johnny Bench, the vintage catcher's glove is just an incredible card. And again, when I think of Chris and our friendship and who he loves and why he collects, this card comes to mind. And then the next person I've kind of got to know was when he was really first starting out and just really getting into the community. In fact, I wanted to get to know him because I really thought that he and I would click, which we did. And I texted everybody I knew, hey, do you have his number? Do you have his number? And actually, Dylan, you were the only person that had his number. You gave me his number. I contacted him. He and I hit it off. Since then, we've had a number of phone calls, a number of texts back and forth about stuff. Great guy on the thing. You see him all over YouTube now. And he's just a super good guy, super young, energetic, and that's none other than Theo Clemente Collector. So Theo, being a big Clemente fan, I decided to show you my 55 Roberto Clemente in honor of you. Again, just everybody knows this card, the classic image of this card, and to me, this card is top notch in the collection. Just like Theo, you're kind of top notch as far as friendship goes. Sorry, a little cheesy, but you know, I had to go with something. And then the final person that I want to highlight is a young guy. Again, he's just doing great things. Huge energy, huge, great collection, brilliant sports mind, and a super eye. And he loves what we call oddball or food issue cards or just rarer kind of things. And that's none other than Dom from Staven Sports Cards. So Dom, I don't have a ton, but I do have a few. So I wanted to show off my 58 Hires Root Beer Pee Wee Reese for you as being a food issue card that I have. Love Pee Wee Reese. I have almost all of his cards from his playing days, and this one I wanted to show off. So this is not a show and tell of cards necessarily. This is more of a show and tell for you guys who watch YouTube and haven't taken that leap. So if there's anything I can do or say to push you over that edge, just do it. Make a video. Get out there. Some of you guys, I'm telling you, your channels are going to explode. Some it's going to grow slow, but it will be out there. And the more people that we have in this community to share our love for each other, for the content that we can create, the cardboard that we all share, I just can't speak high enough for it, what it's done for me and my collecting joy that I have. And I know there's so many other guys that I've gotten close to. Dave, John, Matt, Dylan, like who's doing this VR, Joe, Andrew, Sammy, all these other guys, you guys know who I'm talking about. So for all of you guys, push that button, just push play. For Dylan, I hope this is what you're looking for, and if it's not, take me out of the contest. I wanted to make the video anyway. But these are cards that I paired up with the relationships that I built through this community of YouTube, and I hope that everybody out there gets the chance to experience this. So I appreciate the time, and until next time, you guys be good.